we've all been here. Like, we get into these heated arguments, and next thing you know, like 4 hours went by, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, what happened at the time? Like, you look at the clock, and it's like 11 o'clock at night, and you're like, holy crap. And then you realize, like, man, we should have just stepped away, done some productive stuff, or just kind of cooled off and got a couple laughs in with doing our own personal things, go to the gym, blow some steam, come back, and the next thing you know, you've at least done some productive things, and it's still only 9 o'clock instead of 11 o'clock because, you know, the amount of time that went by, because, you know, in a heated argument, a few hours feels like 5 minutes.
Yeah. And talking about choices and decisions, we see people, and this is going to go off into life choices and success choices, but we kind of touched on it last podcast. People making choices and decisions, they have two options. Stay where you're at in life, whether it be spiritual, mental, financial, relationship-wise. If you're failing, you have a choice and decision to make. Because we talk about it. We don't want to hear your bitching if you don't make a decision to change.
Correct.
And it might only be a couple of decibel volume turns to the right versus, oh my God, I got to do all this. I got to stop doing this. And no, it might just be a little adjustment. That's why you may need to go get a coach, a player coach.
Like a mentor.
A mentor. Choose to leave your job if you're in a toxic environment or a relationship. But I want you to dive into this because you're really good about this, and you coach people on personal mental development, lifestyle choices and decisions. What are some of the tools that you equip people with to make those decisions? Because some people aren't capable, I believe, of making them themselves or know to make those decisions.
I think and I believe at the same time that part of those challenges that people have with making those choices is, number one, they don't have a set of core values when it comes to them and anything that revolves around their life. So whether you're in a relationship, you run a business, your core values everything in your life has to revolve around your core values. Who you are, what you stand for, what you represent. You know, one of yours could be integrity, honor, you know, like a code of honor, like the military.
Right. We
all have our own code of honor. You know, and that's something that you have to make a choice to have, and you write it down, and you have to stand by that, because at that point, then whenever you're in a certain situation, you can always fall back on your values. But then you also have to have a choice of, you have to make a decision on having daily non-negotiables and daily habits, certain things that have to be done that keep you in line with your life, your business, how you operate. Kind of back to like what we talked about in our last episode with, you know, peak performers. These daily habits that you choose to have, these daily non-negotiables. There's like 4 or 5 daily non-negotiables you have to choose that cannot be compromised at any cost, 7 days a week, right? By having that, it allows everything else to fall in place, because then everything else gets scheduled and plugged into the right places based on your daily non-negotiables and your daily habits. You compromise those, everything else kind of turns into this big scattered mess.
I feel like some people are afraid to make choices and decisions because of other people's feelings or responses, right? Like we had we talked about the F your feelings day, right? You know, and I won't say the person, but there's people that have been around my life where people say, well, I don't know how you do that. They're a family member. And it's like, look, I can't be held back. And you say it's selfish, but my success will benefit that individual that's trying to hold me back mentally.
Correct.
I had to make that choice.
Well, that's it. You have to make a choice to change your environment, change the people you're around, change the people you choose to hang out with. Because for the most part, as we've grown up, not as our personal growth, but as we've grown up and as we age, your circle will change. Let's say you have a circle of 5 people. Every certain milestones, 3 out of those 5 people need to get switched out.
Yeah.
Because they just don't serve your life anymore. And that's not trying to sound arrogant, cocky. It's not trying to say like you're better than them. But there just comes a point where they serve their purpose in your life, and now they're more of an anchor, or they're just stagnant because they rose with you to that certain milestone, and now they're good. They just want to sit and coast there, but you want to keep growing. So now you have to make a decision. Like, I can't have this person in my circle anymore. They're no longer serving me, and eventually that shit's going to rub off on me.
I have some good friends that I've grown up with that I'm still friends with from a distance.
Sure.
But there's a zero net gain value of
Boom.
me hanging out.
Say that again.
Zero net value.
There you go.
And that goes in relationships too. But I want to stay on this because people are like, "Oh, that's selfish. You jeopardize your friendship." No, I'm not jeopardizing my friendship. But as you get older, that clock's ticking.
Yeah.
That clock is ticking. And what's scary is if you say, "Well, what's the average amount of time a person lives?" and then you do the how many hours left or how many days left you have on this planet. And you do that and you're like, "Oh my God, I got to get busy." But to answer your question or to talk about this, I still will be friends with people. And if they call 911 for help, in other words, Dab, I'm having a hard time, can we meet? Yeah. But I don't want to hang out with a person. And you may say that's mean or selfish, but there's no value. And if I make $500,000 a year, that's my income. If I want to go to the next level and I hang around people that make $40,000 a year, and it's not that I'm better, but I had a mentor tell me this. If you ever notice that people make, I'll give you a number. People that make $60,000 a year hang around people that make $60,000 a year.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. How do you get to the next level? I was smart enough to figure that out. I was like, I want to hang around that guy. When we moved to Vegas, Iris and myself, I said, okay, we make X, Y, Z. How do we get to the 3.5 million mark a year? Hang around people that are making 6 million, 5 million. Who are those individuals? But if I'm sitting here, and again, not judging people, don't hate the people, but if I'm hanging around knuckle draggers, right, bottom feeders, and it's not based on it's based on your personality or your personal growth of the individual you are, I'm not gonna grow. I'm not gonna grow.
Well, you can't, because your mental capacity cannot evolve. Your mental capacity stops thinking big, because if I make 40,000, you make $500,000. There's only so much I have to talk about when it comes to business, life, success, decisions, choices. Like, I'm not because if I'm making 40 grand, again, not to knock anybody, but if I'm only making 40,000 a year, I only have so many choices and decisions that I can make to really take that to the next level.